It's Tyler with Gaia Force Gaming. I am here with my friend and teammate Dan Vang. Hey Dan.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Sorry, I stumbled my words for a second. He's here to talk about Imperial Digimon in BT4. So he's played what three big events now with this deck list, or a very close very close list to this. Did you actually change anything from the first tournament?
The only biggest thing I changed was the rookies of Memory Gomamon to Vmon. I found that my Memory Gomamons, if they were under an Imperial Digimon stack, they rarely ever died. Or if they died, it didn't make a difference because they had so much memory already that it didn't make a big difference at all.
Gotcha, yeah. So, most notably, Dan here came first place at the PPG qualifier over this last weekend. Total of 8-0, 5 rounds of Swiss, and then top 8 cut, which is very impressive. Also, he was in the finals of the Gyroshan event with our other teammate, George, who George ended up winning that event. And you guys were also in the finals for the Digimon Coliseum qualifier.
Yep, the box tournament that happened, I think, 2 weeks ago.
And then, I'm not sure which one of you guys won it, but I remember at the beginning you agreed to split the box anyway, so...
Yes. So I won the box tournament, George won the Gyroshan tournament, and then I won the PPG tournament recently, this past weekend.
Yeah, just all within like 4 days. It's been a lot of Digimon. But yeah, a lot of people wanted to see your deck list, especially since it is Imperial Digimon, which is super exciting. I know that you actually don't use a ton of new cards for the deck, which is also good for people on a budget who want to remain competitive. So I guess without anything else, we can just take it away.
Sure. So we'll start out with the egg count and we'll work our way up to the counts. I played 4 Demi Vmon. A lot of people do ask me if I should run a 5th. I jump back and forth between the Upamon and whatnot. But I found just consistently you just want to swing and just get the draw for jamming. Upamon's nice, but a lot of people play around it, especially now. Either they have something with a source over it, especially like the blockers have a source, or they just keep it in raising anyway, which means I don't get the draw from Upamon regardless. And a lot of times, if you watch some of the footage, you'll see me trying to fish for pieces if I'm missing pieces, so... I just go with the 4 Demi Vmon, excuse me, instead of adding just the Upamon as the 5th.
Yeah, so you don't miss the 5th egg.
I don't really miss the 5th egg. The only time I really missed the 5th egg was when I play against Red-Yellow Security, which the game went a lot longer than I thought, and at one point I had no eggs, and I was like, oh, I have to start hard casting some rookies. Let's move on to the rookie count.
Okay, alright.
So we'll start with the 4 Vmon.
I'll be done in like 5 minutes.
Self-explanatory. This feels the best when you evolve a Vmon over a Demi Vmon. That guaranteed draw for the jamming. Probably the MVP because he put in a lot of work. A lot of people, when you see the Vmon come out over the Demi V, they just know you're getting a swing, and then they gotta decide like, oh man, I gotta block this guy or just got a way to let him die. One of the best plays ever is just to, if I have like a Paildramon out and I know they can't kill it, you just cast this guy, because then if you have the Imperial or not, they have to worry about it, and they think you might have that piece, so you can always next turn, swing with both your jammers, and then if you do have the Imperial, you can restand them both.
Yeah, I like that, that kind of mind game too, is you could trick them into thinking you have it by just hard playing the Vmon next to the Pail.
Or the Dino B, yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. Next up is just 3 Gabumon. At one point, I think I went down to like 1 or 2 Gabumon, then I went back up, because sometimes you really just need that draw. Just casting him, just getting a draw, possibly choking your opponent feels great. The only thing I really have concerns about is since he's 1k, he does die to a lot of DP reduction this format. Yellow has the Salamon, the red Rise Greymon inherits, where they can just minus 1k or 2k, and then this guy's dead. There was one match I faced against a yellow player. I forget who. Forgive me. But I knew if I played Gabumon, they were going to kill me anyway. And I figured, and he was the only rook in my hand at the time, so I said, you know what? I'm not even going to play him. I'm just going to save him for next turn to evolve over my baby, just so I get the guaranteed draw and he won't die, and I possibly can go up a chain. So I just passed.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, especially yellow has so many, like between the Salmon and even the Coromon, just minus 1k. It's a lot.
And next we have 6 vanillas. You can, your choice, however you want to do it. I prefer just 3 and 3. I don't know, Omnimon still exists, so you don't want to put too many just in case, but 3 vanillas, they're nice just to choke your opponent at 1 if possible, even just putting them at 2. And then them being 3k kind of avoids some of the DP reduction, unless they have like that really good stack where they can minus 3k from everything.
Very cool. Yeah, vanillas are still, even though we have more options, I feel vanillas are still very important to a lot of decks.
Oh yeah. I think vanillas are so important. I mean, look at that event pack Biomon coming out. People are still going to want it.
Yeah, that was a cool announcement today.
Yeah. And I'm sure they'll probably, if they're reprinting starter deck alternate arts, maybe the Gomamon will get one of those event pack treatments.
That'd be cool.
Rounding up the rookie lineup is 2 Vmons. I do like these a lot. Like I said earlier, the memory Gomamons are nice, but almost every time I had it, it's either like if even my stack would die, they always had like a memory tamer out, or they had so much memory anyway, it didn't make a difference if they went down by 1, because it never shifted to my turn.
Yeah.
I put the Vmons in just for have a lot more options you can work with. You can restand from the Imperial, you can restand from XV, you can restand from the Omni even. So there's a lot more chances to get this draw as opposed to just a memory Gomamon.
Yeah, I really like that choice as well.
Yeah. If I were ever changed, maybe I would add an extra Vmon for a Gabumon, depending if I knew there would be a lot more yellow running around, like the Salas, but right now I'm comfortable with the rookie count.
And that's a total of, what, 15 rookies? Am I counting right?
I believe so. Let's do 4, 7, 10, 15 rookies. Yep.
Very cool.
Alright, we'll work our way to level 4s now. 4 Gorillas. Love Gorilla. 6k beats over the 5k blockers that are introduced in this format. Feels good when you can either crash or just run over one. There's one game where they had a 5k blocker out and I had a Gabumon and I evolved over to Gorilla and I swung and they didn't block. It felt good because I knew, like, hey, now they have to respond to this guy by evolving their blocker to War Growlmon or something. Because War Growlmon, I think, in yellow is one of the few that can run over the 6k, because Angelomon that minuses 2 security is 6k, so they have to crash into it if they can't go up more. I do prefer him over
the fish.
Kobimon? Yeah, I don't know what to call it. That fish one, because I do think sometimes you want that level 4 by just paying 3, but I think I run enough rookies to feel more comfortable just going up this route. The Tobimon is kind of weak. I think it's only 3k DP.
It is. Yeah, it's the Numamon for blue.
Yeah, so it's not that strong because let's say you hardcast and knows your only play, and you couldn't go up the chain, then they'll minus you anyway, like 3k, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts. We have 3 XVmon. Pretty standard. I think this is the right amount to play, just because you don't feel as guilty. Because if you run 2, if you run 2 of anything, you kind of feel guilty digivolving over 1 sometimes and not getting the effects. So you're like, oh, I only have 1 left somewhere. If you have 3, you don't feel as guilty. Because I think one of the games as well, I digivolved in my raising area over one of the rookies into XVmon, and I was like, well, that's the only play I got. So now I know at least I have 2 somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll do the 2 blockers next, the 2 Grizzlymon. great for the format, in my opinion. Nice to just hold off stuff like Rookie Rush. Especially, I think I fought a purple in the PvG where he was pretty much Rookie Rushing me, and I was like, I'm just going to put on some blockers just to hold him off for a little bit longer. Sometimes I do wish I had a third, obviously. It's really hard to figure out what to take out, because I do like Gorilla at 4, XV at 3, and the next one, the MVP, I do like him at 3, and he will definitely not be reduced anymore. The Lobomon, definitely MVP of the deck. It helps you sneak a lot of wins, especially if you have the Davis. It's crazy if in like the right setting you could do, if you had Davis, a Hammer Spark, Lobomon, and XV, that's so many swings to somebody, especially if they don't have the blocker.
Yeah. I think those
Clutch.
Spirit Evolutions, the hybrids, are like... People are going to start seeing, as formats go on, that people are going to probably put one or two in like almost every deck they can. At least if you have the space as a flex spot and you rely on tamers, like in blue especially, because every blue deck runs Davis, pretty much.
Yes.
It's just such a... To be able to go out of nowhere and just win is insane.
Yeah, because depending on what kind of deck you run, you don't know how many blockers they run. You could run the 4 blockers, and then you go up to 8 or in between. But sometimes if the deck doesn't run enough blockers, you just swing for game.
Yeah.
We'll go up to the ultimate lineup now. Pretty standard. I'll just show both of them at the same time. This is just 4 Dino Bee, 4 Pyldramon. Definitely should be running all 8 of these. You will be looking for them. There were many times where I had evolved into a Dino Bee instead. Felt a little more painful, but I mean, sometimes you just get the piercing jamming. There was one game where, what did I swing with? I swung with a rookie. They blocked. Why did they block? I'm trying to remember why. They definitely evolved. It's probably Vmon. I swung with Vmon to get the jamming draw. They blocked to kill it, obviously, and then I think they thought I had the Pyldramon, but I actually had Dino Bee. So I Digivolve Dino Bee, swing over their blocker, piercing, jamming. So that helped out a lot.
That's a huge tempo shift, too, when you could make a play like that.
So they lost the security anyway. I didn't even have Imperialdramon in my hand at the time, too, but I was like, okay, piercing, jamming, good. And then I just threw down a Grizzly to kind of protect it for a turn while I fished for other pieces. The mega count, straightforward. It's just 4 Imperial. That's all I run. If you can get to it, great. If not, you do the low end rush as much as possible. Imperial, I don't know what else to say about it. Just swinging restand is so good, especially just even evolving and restanding all your jammers feels amazing. Like swinging with these guys and then possibly swinging with this, or just casting it and then being able to cast this to restand everything, great. What deck did I face? One deck I faced in the Gyroshan tournament, I think he puppeted me, and I had no Imperialdramon at the time. I had Pyldramon and a Dino Bee and a Vmon, and he puppeted me. And I just tried to Digivolve as much as I could to try to, from these guys, I remember I played a Gogmon, they Digivolved to XVmon, and then I played another rookie and then another Gorilla to kind of fish to finally find just one Imperial to restand everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was a lot of swings. I had to look for it. That was the problem, because I remember when he hit me, I lost one from security, so I was like, okay, there's 3 left, I have no idea where they are, so I gotta find them. We have 2 Omnimon. I know a lot of people don't like the Omnimon, I get it too, because there are times where I'll play Davis, and I'll flip an Omni, I'm like, well, that's useless. But it has come clutch for me sometimes, because sometimes you don't have as much removal in this deck, so it is nice to have the removal. There have been weird chains where I've kept my level 5 and raising as long as possible, even if I did have the Imperial, because I knew that they had a bigger board and they could wipe out my Imperial. Even if I swung for like 2 or 3 checks, they'd hit me on the crackback and I would just lose my board and lose everything. So there were times where I just kept these guys in the raising like 1 or 2 turns, just to make sure and see if they're going to pressure and bring out their big guy, like the War Greymon, you know?
Yeah.
Some of them will digivolve to Raisin. They have War Greymon, and they're like, I'm not going to keep it another turn, so they'll push it out, swing, and if it doesn't die, then I know I have the Davis. I can go to Imperial, either swing over it, get a security check, and then since I had the Omnimon, I was looking for this guy. I can always play it over and just do some shenanigans.
Yeah, I think this format we're going to see a lot of that chicken game, that like who's bringing out of raising first type.
Yes. George and I also talked about that too. That Chimeramon, while it's still a great card, it's really hard because a lot of people keep their level 5s in the raising now, so you don't feel good like hard playing it because there might not be a target. Omnimon did come, the best time it came clutch for me was when I faced security decks because they gave me 10 with Magnadramon. I was able to swing a bunch of times, and then if I had 6 or more left, I'll swing once with Imperial, I'll go to Omni to get rid of their Magnadramon, and then swing twice with Omni, which is great.
Yeah.
And then luckily one time I had the restand, so I drew from it as well.
Yeah, I was going to say in an ideal world, if you have like the Pail, you could swing, evolve, swing, go into Omni, swing, swing. Like you just wipe 4 checks if like you get enough memory.
In a Miracle Utopia, you would have Lobomon for game somehow.
Yeah. Double Lobomon, good game.
I think I only did that once, and I was like, what? That was like crazy. Self-explanatory. 4 Hammer Sparks. You don't want to run any less. You always want this. This is like the card that pretty much ends games. Like you could Hammer Spark, to 4. Like I said earlier, you could XV, double Lobo. And sometimes just having it, I think Hammer Spark saved me at least twice in the PPG tournament, at least once in the Gyroshan tournament, where they were just at 1. We were both at 1 because we didn't see any tamers. And then they just checked Hammer Spark and my turn,
Yeah.
It just gave me enough momentum to switch the tempo and like either put another body or just go up one of these guys, which helped out a lot. 2 Cocytus Breath. People don't like Cocytus Breath in this format. I get it because you return it to hand, so they can get their on play when Digivolved ability again. But sometimes it's really nice, like especially if you're facing, maybe they just built up tall with one guy and they have the Valdorm. You don't really want to pop it to give them 3 more memory and then they get all this. Like sometimes just if they have nothing on board and you Cocytus their Valdorm or their Metal Garou, something like where they have to evolve up again and they don't have anything in raising, so they really have to have the right pieces. It feels really good. Did save me a game against, I think, a green deck and a purple deck where it pretty much had lethal and I just had to bounce somebody.
Very cool.
And then to round it off is just 3 Davis. Sometimes I wanted the 4th one, but I don't really know what to take out for a 4th Davis.
Yeah, it's a tight list.
Yeah, because, it's hard because I don't want to run too many options to Tamers, but I also don't want to take out one of the Cocytus Breaths either.
Yeah.
That's the tough part. This is my list. I tell people I'm a simple man, just trying to run stuff. This, honestly, is probably the best, I guess, more budget deck because the only set 4 cards in it are the Lobomons, and technically you could just run the common ones.
Yeah.
I was able to trade for 1 Altar, but you could just run the common ones and spend no money on BT4.
Yeah.
Be smart. Unlike most of us, right?
Spend a couple bucks, like literally.
and try to build up.
But yeah, that's awesome. I think Imperial's still very strong. I know a lot of people kind of were like, oh, it'll be like, tier 1.5, maybe tier 2. But I think the thing that makes it really strong is the popularity of yellow and the fact that, like, how many yellow decks did you play across, like, your 20 rounds?
Let me get the PPG record. I know that. I might have to look up the jars.
Would you say, like, about half?
Again?
Would you say about half?
Oh, for sure. Definitely half yellow.
Yeah, so, and then...
It depends on the pilot, too. Because a lot of them, it depends on who you face, but a lot of them will Blinding Ray, and I don't think that's the choice. That's the move against this deck. Like, you can play it a little slower and build up because late game, yellow can make so many great stacks and have so much tempo. Late game for Imperial, it's like I still have to build 1 boss monster. If it dies, I have to build the boss monster again.
Because, yeah, something I've noticed playing green, and I'm sure you've noticed, any deck that could check multiple things a turn. And I think this is also why George has had such good success with Mastimon, is because yellow, if they spend early game spending their security to like try to gain board advantage, and then you put lethal on board, like usually you only need three checks.
Yeah.
And like Imperial Dramon can do those 3 checks and then Lobomon. Mastamon can like evolve to Mastay, put them at 1, bring out Peter Tinker, and have something in raising and be like, okay, I have 4 checks next turn. Like,
I totally agree.
Even green, you can
really
have the
tough to
1
respond.
stack and just like take 3 checks, evolve to Chaosmon with HPD and swing for game. I really do think that this is the most diverse meta we've had, even though lots of people are playing yellow. There's a lot of checks to it, and I think it's a very healthy format right now.
I think it is too. I think the one that gets the crap end of the stick, unfortunately, is Mega Zoo, because giving so much memory now gives them a lot of more like rush decks, more advantage and more memory. Given they still have to find the pieces though.
Yeah,
It's tough. Like if you puppet somebody, Mastamon answers that. Imperial Dramon answers that. Yellow can go up the chain, assuming they have their pieces. I think I want to run green yellow Mega Zoo, but because of I saw the format and I was like, it sucks because once you play like your 10K or your level 6 and they pop it, then they have a big advantage. And what do? You just play another like level 6.
Yeah.
And then they might pop it again, and now you lose because you can't play another one and guarantee your win because they have Wargreymon, Valdarm, and they probably have another stack coming up that could be another one. So
yeah,
really tough.
Well, congratulations! You did what out of the 3 tournaments? Something like 18-1 for your record, or
a lot.
Something crazy like that.
Yes.
And the only loss was in finals to a teammate. So. I mean, actually, I was actually talking to George today, and I think another big part of it, not to discredit like you guys as players at all, you guys are both phenomenal, but you guys are both still playing the same deck you were playing in 1.5 with upgrades, and you have all these people trying to figure out new strategies, new decks, and you guys are just like, yeah, we've done this, let's go.
It's the meme, the SpongeBob meme, just get out old reliable and just be like, let's do it.
Yeah. But it's an awesome deck. People definitely, if you don't know what to play in BT4 and you've got Imperial Dramon lying around, it is not a big investment. You could feel out this format and ride easy. I mean,
yeah,
it's a fun deck too.
It puts on the pressure.
But lots of people were asking about it. Congrats, Dan. You killed it this week in all your tournaments. And it's just been, and the competition was fierce at that PPG.
Hefty.
Insane. Just the amount of
toughest of 80 players ever. I do count if you watch some of the stream games in the finals, a lot of it was just me getting a little bit lucky because top 8 I misplayed. Definitely misplayed because I played a Goblimon and he had Matt and I was like, oh yeah, he has Matt. I'm an idiot. I wasted a Hammer Spark. But then he misplayed back, so it kind of evened it out for me. So he could have won with a Nailbone play and just swarmed me. And then top 8, I think he's Chris Salk, he's so good. Really good player. One of the best. And one of the games, I technically didn't have game because I swung with Imperial Dramon at his security and his TK revealed his Chaosmon. And he had to take it and couldn't recover, so I could Lobomon for game. If the TK revealed a yellow, it'd be a different story because I didn't have an Omnimon to answer his board, which had like a Wargreymon and another stack that could have been another Wargreymon. So, no, a little bit of luck did have to factor into it because that was his game for sure. Because if TK didn't reveal the Chaosmon, I could Lobomon, but he had a Unimon, not a 5K blocker, so there's no way I could have won. He would have just cracked back and just wiped me out anyway.
Yikes! But yeah, phenomenal. Thanks for taking the time. I mean, we'd be talking anyway, but thanks for showing everyone this cool list. And yeah, I mean, you're playing in the Bandai event this weekend as well, I'm imagining?
I don't know for sure. If I am, nobody take me seriously because I may not be able to play the whole rounds or all 7 rounds.
Yeah, you might be like me where I went 0-3 drop in the Sunday event because I just had stuff to do.
Yeah, I might have to, unfortunately.
All right, Dan. Well, thanks for giving us the insight on this deck, and hope everyone enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more Gaia Force Gaming.
All right.